Friedrich Jeckeln was born on February 2, 1895 in the Grand Duchy of Baden, within the German Empire. He served in World War I as an officer. After being discharged following Germany's defeat, Jeckeln worked as an engineer before joining the Nazi Party on October 1, 1929. In January 1931, he was accepted into the Schutzstaffel, otherwise known as the SS. By the end of 1931 he was placed in charge of a regiment, and then a brigade. In 1932, Jeckeln was elected as a member of the German Reichstag. In January 1933, when the Nazi Party came to national power, he was put in charge of SS Group South. In 1936, he was appointed SS and police leader and later promoted to SS Obergruppenführer. Jeckeln was known for his brutality. Political opponents, like members of the Communist and Socialist parties, along with the unions, were persecuted and harassed relentlessly. Together with party member Friedrich Jeckeln was primarily responsible for the Riesberg murders in the summer of 1933. Jeckeln was transferred to the Waffen-SS after the outbreak of World War II, and served as an officer in Regiment 2 of the Totenkopf Division. In 1941, he was transferred by Reichsführer SS Heinrich Himmler to serve as Higher SS and police leader of the southern occupied Soviet territories. Then later in 1941, he served in the same capacity in the north. In this role he assumed control of all SS Einsatzgruppen mass killings and security operations in his district. He personally developed a method of killing large numbers of people, over the course of the mass killings he had organized in occupied Ukraine, which included the Babi Yar and the Kamianets-Podilsky massacre. The method was first applied in the Rumbula massacre in late November. The method, which became known as their Jeckeln system, involved dividing staff into separate groups, each of which took part in a separate part of the process. This system was referred to as sardine packing. It was reported that even some of the more experienced Einsatzgruppen killers were horrified by its cruelty. At the Rumbula massacre, Jeckeln watched on both days of the massacre as 25,000 people were killed. Jeckeln proved to be an effective killer who cared nothing about murdering huge numbers of men, women and children. By the end of August 1941, while commanding the SS 1st Brigade in western Ukraine, Jeckeln had personally supervised the murders of more than 44,000 people. On January 27, 1942, Jeckeln was awarded the War Merit Cross with swords for killing 25,000 at Rumbula, on orders from the highest level. In February 1945, Jeckeln was appointed to command the SS Freiwilligen Corps, and also served as commander of replacement troops and higher SS police leader in southwest Germany. Jeckeln was taken prisoner by the Soviets near Halbe on Saturday, April 28, 1945. Along with other German personnel, he was tried before a Soviet military tribunal in the Riga trial in the Latvian Soviet Republic. The trial lasted from January 26 to February 3, 1946. During the investigation, he was reported to be calm, answering questions from investigators, and in the dock he looked calm and impartial. In his last words, he admitted his guilt and agreed to bear full responsibility for the activities of his subordinate police, the SS and SD in the Ostland territories the Reich had occupied. Concluding his speech, he said, "I have to take full responsibility for what happened in their borders of Ostland, within SS, SD and the Gestapo. This greatly increases my guilt. My fate is in the hands of the High Court, and so I ask only to pay attention to mitigating circumstances. I will accept a sentence in full repentance which I will consider as worthy punishment." Friedrich Jeckeln and the other defendants were all found guilty, sentenced to death and publicly hanged in Riga, on February 3, 1946 in front of 4,000 spectators.